When we talk about life in China, the videos we see on YouTube are oftentimes very extreme. It's either overwhelming admiration or total alarm. But what is it actually like to live here? As a born and raised Chinese, today I'm going to reveal the truth about living in China. Hello, my name's Cheryl. After living and working in Shanghai, China for 5 years, I found that the biggest culture shock about living in China isn't something that you would hear or see from the news or biggest media outlet. They're about the daily experience that will completely shift your perspective. If you're someone that's planning to move to China or you're genuinely just curious about this country, then this video is for you. Let's get started with some positive culture shocks. First one, China is a cashless society. In the US, credit cards and debit cards are still dominant. When you step into China, you will see that every transaction is made through WeChat Pay or Alipay. Even street vendors take mobile payments, and sometimes cash simply isn't accepted because people rarely carry change. You use QR code for absolutely everything. You're scanning the QR code to pay for grocery, to get a cup of coffee, or even rent a shared bicycle. Everything can be done digitally on your phone. Second one, sharing food culture difference. When you go out with your Chinese friends, you should expect that we're all gonna be ordering a few different dishes and that we're gonna share them with each one of them on the table. The idea of sharing dishes with everyone is a beautiful and simple, easy way to instantly bring people closer together and deepen the social bond. In China, drinking ice water is often considered harmful to your body, to your digestive system, and especially women's body health. Therefore, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, they will naturally serve you a cup of hot water or a cup of hot tea without you even asking. Even when it's 35 degrees Celsius outside, this commitment to traditional health practices is a major culture difference. Number three, group first mentality over me first mentality. Americans and Chinese often have completely different priorities in their decision making in all aspects of their lives. The typical American view would be, I want what's best for me. But the Chinese view is often, I don't want to inconvenience the group. This difference became vividly clear in the COVID-19 pandemic. In China, you saw that nearly everyone felt a social obligation to wear a mask in public. It was seen as a dual act, protecting yourself and perhaps sometimes more importantly, protect someone else when you are unknowingly infectious. Meanwhile, in the US, we see that a lot of Americans are protesting, citing their individual rights to decide whether or not they want to wear a mask. It's a profound difference in mentality when coping with a social crisis. Number four, the 996 work culture intensity. 996 refers to the idea of working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 6 days a week. Even though it's not a universal enforced rule, it is a very common unspoken rule that you will be working longer hours, especially if you work in a competitive industry. If you work for one of the major tech companies, this demanding schedule is basically a given. For example, one of the fastest growing company, Pinduoduo, is known for their overtime working culture. It's quite common to see their employee leaving the company at around 11 p.m. on a daily basis. Number five, fast delivery and convenience culture. In China, you don't have to physically go to a supermarket like Target, Whole Foods, or Walmart to shop for food. You can simply order your delivery on your phone, and 30 minutes later, your delivery will arrive right at your door. Yeah, I understand that there's also delivery for groceries in the US, but oftentimes we still go to the supermarket ourselves. It's because delivery fees, it's pretty expensive, right? So in China, you pay for your grocery and oftentimes the delivery fee is free. And furthermore, there's 24/7 convenience service everywhere. When you feel hungry at 11 p.m., You can simply go downstairs to a nearby convenience store. They will be available for you any time of the day. This level of immediate convenience is something that's really astonishing for a lot of the Westerners that come to live in China. Number 6, and it's the most important, which is it's pretty safe to live here. It's not unusual to see a woman walking at 3 a.m. in the morning, like after partying on the street. And it's not uncommon to see children playing outside unsupervised. There is generally much lower crime rate in China comparing to the rest of the world. This feeling of safety, especially at night, is one of the most comforting and pleasant surprises for many Westerners. Okay, what are some negative culture shocks? Number 1, there are smokers everywhere. You should expect to see smokers in many places where smoking would be strictly banned in the US. You might see someone smoking on the street, sometimes inside a shopping mall, or occasionally while you're eating at a restaurant. While there's increasing public health campaigns, but we still see that smoking is more acceptable in some public spaces in China than it is in Western countries. So this is bizarre for many of my Western friends that napkins are sometimes not offered in the restaurant. And when they do have napkins, it's likely that they will charge you a small fee for the packet. And the reason for this situation, it's really my personal opinion. I never discussed this with anyone else. I think it's because there are, unfortunately, the reality is that a lot of the individuals, steal the entire packet that's offered to them when they only need a few. Therefore, it's actually a good idea to bring your napkins everywhere you go. Number 3, electric bikes are crazy and they're everywhere. Unlike in the US, you might need a car to go around. In China, electric bikes are the most convenient transportation in most cities. Personally, I hate these bikes. Many electric bikes drivers are crazily dangerous. They drive very fast and they weave through the crowd, and sometimes they're driving while looking at their phone. Number 4, people staring at you openly. Staring at someone you don't know, it's often considered impolite in many Western countries. However, in China, you will find it quite common. This is especially true if you're someone who looks different from the general population and doesn't seem to be culturally blending in. Well, most of the time, people staring at you out of pure, harmless curiosity, not out of bad intentions. That said, there are times, especially you're a woman, you will see that a Chinese man staring at you out of lustful intent or even taking pictures of you in the subway. That is when you need to be aware of your surroundings and be ready to seek help from people around you. Number 5, China is a boundaryless society. Many Chinese people have very little awareness or respect for what American people would consider personal boundaries. It is quite common for a Chinese person or someone you even just met to ask you questions like, how old are you? Are you married? Or how much money do you make in a month? In the US, these questions would be considered inappropriate. In Chinese culture, this is often a way trying to establish closeness rather than a deliberate evasion of privacy. Number 6, Chinese people don't say what they mean. In Chinese culture, indirect communication is an art form. This is often tied to the concept of saving face. In Chinese, 面子. 面子 protects both your own status and the social standing of the person you're talking to. Let me give you a few examples. If someone asks you, 你方便吗? It literally means, is it a convenient time for you? And the real meaning is, I need you to help me with something. Can I ask a favor from you? So why? Because Chinese people rarely jump straight to the request. They like to test the water first to avoid burdening you. Example 2. If someone says to you, 有空的话可以一起吃饭, the literal meaning is, when you have time, let's eat together. But the real meaning is, I want to spend time with you. but I don't want to pressure you. This is a polite, non-committal invitation that allows you to say no without conflict. Example 3. When someone says to you, 下次吧, the literal meaning is, let's do it next time. When a Chinese person tells you, let's do it next time, it actually means no. This is a gentle, socially acceptable refusal. Chinese people avoid rejecting someone directly because it would cause both parties to lose face. And you need to learn the social cue. Number 7. Chinese companies lack individuality. Chinese companies typically operate under a highly centralized power structure. So how does this power structure look like? There's often one decision maker. The boss sets direction. The middle manager follow. Employees implement without questioning. This structure is rooted in the traditional Confucian hierarchy, 君君臣臣,父父子子, which states that everyone has a role, ruler to subject, father to son. We have a culture that respects age, seniority, and authority. When this idea manifests in a workplace, how does that look like? Having meetings where only the boss speaks, following orders even when they don't make sense, making business decisions heavily based on the boss's mood and preference, avoiding conflict at the cost of exchanging good ideas, prioritizing stability over innovation. Team members are afraid to stand out or offer new directions to avoid taking responsibilities and potential punishment. The pros are things get done extremely fast. The direction is clear. There's less friction in the execution. However, the cons, in my opinions, are extremely detrimental. Having worked in China for close to 5 years, I've noticed a decrease in my individual thinking ability. I find myself censoring my own thoughts from time to time. And I sometimes feel pressure to fit into a mold that doesn't celebrate diversity and independent thought. It's a trade-off between individual expression and collective efficiency. There it is. I hope this video gave you a genuine, balanced look on the realities on the ground. And I love to hear from you. Which of the culture shocks that surprised you the most? And if you have any questions about daily lives in China or any other questions about China, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. I might answer your questions in my next Q&A videos. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.